Hi, wonderful people. We are here today to have a conversation with our founder and our Nana, Nana Ayabiafo Jana. We are very fortunate because it's very difficult to get him. So anytime we get a chance to get him, we want to extract some juice so that we and the viewers, everybody, we can be able to, learn something. But before we start, let me welcome Nana. Nana, you are welcome.
Thank you, sir.
How has it been?
Yeah, by the grace of God, I've been doing well. I hope you're doing well as well.
By God's grace.
I'm happy that you are here today.
Oh, yes. Today I want to come because there are some intriguing questions that the viewers are always sending that I feel that I have to be here so that I can ask myself.
Thank you, sir.
We will go to the topic, and the topic is about the belongings of the dead and their clothing. Because it looks like of late, anything about the dead is quite mysterious and questionable, and people find it, difficult understanding some of these things. And we feel like, no, today there we have to come and probably ask. So, can you please go into it and let us understand why issues about death, their belongings, clothing are very questionable and mysterious like that?
Okay, thank you. So let me say a very good morning, good afternoon, good evening to anybody who's watching us. I think it's a very important point or a subject to discuss. Many a times when we speak of death, most people are not so interested or so happy because they feel that death must not be discussed. But to be honest with you, the most important thing in this world that needs to be discussed daily is death. Because death is the only surest thing in this world. It is the only surest thing in this world. In fact, this material world is like a bottle of entry and exit.
Okay.
The whole material universe, not just our earth. The whole material universe is like a city that have two gates. The first gate is a gate for entry.
Okay.
And then the second gate is a gate for
exit.
So, before you're able to appear in this world, you must go through the entry point. There's no other way apart from going through the entry point. And you have some stipulated number of years to live. And as soon as that number of years expires, you must exit. So my spiritual master says that life itself is like a school. We go through many things, but at the end of the day, we must go for our final exams. And that final exams is death. So I will encourage everybody that don't be afraid to discuss death.
Okay.
Because it is something that's part of us. Whether you like it or not, one day you have to experience it. And probably if you are doubting me, ask yourself, where are your great grandparents? They are gone. Where are some old relatives of your family? Probably they are all gone. Maybe as I'm speaking, maybe your father, your mother, they are all gone. And just recently, maybe a friend of yours, a classmate of yours, or somebody that was so close to you is gone. So never ever pamper yourself to feel that you will live forever. That is not a fact. You will have to go one day. And as I'm speaking with you, one day I will leave. And you that's watching me, one day you will leave. So anything that's so sure as this must be discussed daily. So in regards to using the belongings of dead people, for us to really to see the gravity of the whole situation, let us understand death.
Okay.
Because if you're able to understand the scenario, what we call death, then we will see or we come to understand the importance of whether we need to use or not to use the belongings of dead people.
Sure.
See, the whole point is that I've been saying this is our material body, this is our gross body. It's made up of 8 elements. 8. 5 of the 8 elements is gross and 3 are subtle. So the 5 gross elements are earth, water, fire, air, and ether. These 5 elements are gross. Gross means that something you can see, you can feel, you can touch. But the 3 elements are subtle. That's the mind, the intelligence, and force ego. Subtle means something that is material, but it cannot be seen, it cannot be touched, and it cannot even be felt.
Is it spiritual?
It is not spiritual, it's subtle.
So spiritual and subtle, they are
two different things. For instance, angels are not spiritual. They are subtle.
Really?
They are subtle beings, yeah.
Oh, okay.
They are subtle beings. Ghosts are not spiritual. They are subtle. Witchcraft, wizards and witches, they don't operate in the spiritual realm, they operate on the subtle realm.
I think it means that we have actually just been mixing both.
That is the fine. Out of ignorance, people misconstrue spiritual with metaphysics. No.
Oh, okay.
For instance, you can touch this body because we have gross materials here. You know you have mind, but you can't touch your mind, right? You know you have intelligence, but your intelligence cannot be touched. And also you know you have ego. Ego is that ability that makes you to feel unique. So you know you possess intelligence, but you can't touch it. You don't know where it is. Wow. So material things that exist but cannot be touched, cannot be felt, they are considered to be subtle elements. Okay. So these 8 elements, the 5 creates the gross body, and the 3 creates the subtle body. So in our dreams, that's when we are able to differentiate between what is a gross body and what is a subtle body. Because in the daytime, we can see our body, we eat, we dress, we do things. Where is the subtle body? It is only when we put this gross body into slumber that we begin to experience the existence of the subtle body. Okay. For advanced soul, they don't need to sleep before they can experience their subtle self. The subtle self can be experienced based on a science called astral projection. Wow. So one can just sit down consciously and he will go out of his body without sleeping. That is the astral projection. Because people have the ability to separate the subtle body from the gross body, so they're able to manipulate it in this kind of science. So here, when you sleep, what you see in the dream, the interaction you have in the dream is actually not the gross body, but with the subtle body.
Wow.
So for instance, you dream seeing yourself, say, in the US, but you're in Ghana currently. So you ask yourself, when did you go to the airport? When did you go and enter into the aircraft that you find yourself in the US? So somebody might say, oh, maybe you're just thinking. But if being in the US in the dream, if you find yourself having a sex or an affair, sexual affair with a woman or a man in the US, you will find out that the following morning there will be some signs or symptoms to tell you that truly in the night you had a sexual affair with somebody.
But then why is that when somebody gives you money in the dream, you wake up, you don't see the money?
Okay, because money as notes,
okay,
its limitation is so wide. It is only gross.
Okay.
But sex goes beyond just the physical experience.
Wow.
That's why it is said that be very careful the kind of person you have sex with. Because anybody you sleep with, it is not just only the physical content of the sexual organs, but something mystical happens.
Okay.
Don't forget that when a man meets a woman, that act is able to create a soul. So sexual connection goes beyond the physical. That's why when you dream and somebody probably is giving you food, and it's just an ordinary food, you wake up in the morning and you feel hungry. You don't feel like you've eaten.
Yeah.
But if there is something mystical behind that eating, you wake up in the morning and you feel bloated, like something is wrong with you.
Yeah.
Because there is something mystical attached to the eating. So money in itself is gross, it's physical. So if there's no spiritual manipulation behind it, you'll be given money in the dream, you wake up in the morning and the money is not there.
Okay.
But in the case of having the sex, because sexual life or sexual act goes beyond just the gross, it goes deep down into your subtle existence.
Okay.
So you ask yourself, I slept, I found myself in the US, even though I live in Ghana. I woke up in the morning and something showed me or something testified that something really happened. So the body you saw in the dream is not your gross body, but your subtle body.
Okay.
So it is subtle, it is not spiritual.
Okay.
The ghosts, demons, evil forces, witches, whatever, they all operate within the subtle realm. The demigods, the angels, the archangels, the Gandharvas, the Apsaras, and all these subtle beings, They all operate within the subtle realm. But many people say it's spiritual. Like because we even say spiritual marriage, which means that some spirits are having some sexual connection with you. Those beings, they cannot operate in the spiritual realm. Listen to this. Spiritual means only God's existence.
Okay, so it means that no other thing can operate in the spiritual realm aside
an interaction with God.
Okay.
You see, we humans, apart from the gross body, the subtle body, we also have our spiritual body. And that spiritual body is also consists of 3 elements: eternity, bliss, and knowledge.
So when you add it to the 8, we are actually made of 11.
I mean, there's 8 plus 3, that became 11. But the last 3 is spiritual.
Okay.
You understand? So the gross is made up of 5 elements, the subtle 3 elements, and then the spiritual 3 elements. And that is our real self. Okay. No, so like as I'm sitting here, I'm wearing this dress that's considered to be the gross body. Under I'm wearing a singlet that consists of, represent the subtle body. Yeah. And then within these 2 dresses, me, jnana, I am in there, and that is the spiritual self.
Okay.
So the spiritual self, it's there. That is spiritual. So anytime you are dealing with God, even though you might be using this your gross body, but in actuality you are using your real self. Because anything that has to do with the interaction of God is spiritual.
I get it.
You get the point?
Sure.
So, for instance, like you give something to somebody, money. If I give you money, it's physical, it's gross. So, it's just money I gave you. But if I give you this money with the intention that, my dear Lord, I want to help this person, probably is going through difficulty, but because of you, God, I want to give this money to this person. The money I gave is an ordinary gross element.
Yeah.
But with the sense of understanding behind me giving you this money makes that act spiritual.
Okay.
You understand?
Sure.
So it is said that a non-devotee can be engaged in doing something, and a devotee can be seen engaged in doing same thing, but they are not doing the same thing because of the consciousness behind the act.
Okay.
So now we have to understand that we are not this gross body, we are not the subtle body, we are the spiritual self. So, like I told you, the universe is like a city of 2 gates. One is entry point and one is the exit point. So now, as soon as you enter into this world, you enter through the entry point. You must go through the exit point. So within this globe, within this city, many things happen.
Okay.
The human being is so much attached to his body and the extension of this body and the extension of those bodies. So what it means is that you love this body. The extension of your body are your kids. And the belongings of your kids and yourself also become somehow part of your existence. So when one lives, at times we live in peace. At times we live in agony. At times we live with annoyance. So when one leaves the body, and this person lives in a very terrible situation where the person harbors so much pain, so much agony, and so much grudges, and we begin to associate with the belongings of that personality, it creates a lot of contamination for our own personal self. So, for instance, somebody dies and the person have a car and he loves the car so much. It means that even though the body is no more, but the spiritual self that we call ghost, at that point will be attached to that car. It goes to the car. This ghost is very attached to the kids, so it goes to the kids' school to see what is happening. Probably he's so much attached to the wife, so wherever the wife is now, he would like to go there. He's having some companies. He's so much attached to these things, so he will find himself visiting all the offices and the factories and the places that he owns. So if this personality that left in agony, left in anger, left in annoyance, or left in a situation whereby he is not happy, and you are seen taking advantage of those things that you're so much attached to, don't forget that time we become very limited because of the gross body. As soon as we leave the gross body, that limitation is minimized.
Okay, so it means the subtle body is limitless.
It's not limitless per se, but the limitations to this body is no more for the
Subtle
subtle body. Because, for instance, if you want to enter into this house and the gates are locked and the windows are locked, there's no possible way of you getting in here because the gross body. But the subtle body can just enter here without going through any of the entrances. Okay?
Yeah.
But the subtle body cannot go to the spiritual world because that's his limitation. Also, that's why I don't want to accept the word that
it's limited.
It's also limited because the subtle body cannot go to the spiritual world because there's a limitation there. But the limitation to the gross body and that to the subtle body differs. So now, this subtle being, for instance, if they left in angry mood or in a grudging mood or in a very bad situation that they are not happy, it's not very easy for them to be able to attack any gross body.
Okay.
So, for instance, maybe somebody was killed and this man left wife and kids with property. Yeah. And the person that killed this person took advantage of the wife and the kids, and they get married to the wife and now begin to enjoy all the stuff. The departed soul might see all this things and be very angry, but cannot be able to attack. Because now he is possessing a subtle body, and these people are possessing gross body. It is not very easy for somebody with a subtle body to be able to attack a personality with a gross body.
Yeah.
Unless this departed soul is able to learn the science of being able to attack a gross body with a subtle body. That's only when they will be able to attack you. And there are instances, if you read the mystical books, it is only when this person is completely naked, that's when they will be able to attack. Okay. And that's if after they've been able to learn the art of attacking gross body with subtle element, it is only when the target is completely naked.
Okay.
So many times, somebody is bathing in the washroom, you go there, say the person is dead. Those days, people go to the toilet, and they were sitting down, something happens. So anytime you are completely naked, that's when these beings will be able to attack you. That is, if you have any problem with them and they want to attack you, and after they've gone through the science of learning how to attack gross body with subtle element, they can only attack you when you are completely naked.
Who teaches them how to...
Because on that realm, there has been departed soul that have been there since time immemorial. So in every realm you go, there are masters there. Like here, if you want to learn masonry, there are masters to teach you that. If you want to learn mechanics, there are masters to teach you that. If you go to the subtle realms, there are masters there to teach you how to manipulate gross element with subtle element.
Wow.
Yes. So for instance, maybe somebody passes away and the person wants to give some information to the family members. He will come and be speaking, nobody will hear. Nobody will hear. And there's no way they will be able to, disseminate the information. But there are masters on that realm that will be able to guide you, the fresh departed soul. Yeah. How you'll be able to manipulate gross things so that you can go in through somebody and speak to the person. So many times you go to the funerals. It happens in my village. Yeah. Somebody dies and they call him someone come. Someone dies and probably the person wants to speak. Then somebody will get possessed. Yeah. And the person will be speaking with the voice of the departed person.
The voice.
The voice. My sister passed away not too long ago. My sister passed away, and during the funeral, she manifested through one of our sisters.
Wow.
Yes, I was there. I was there when my senior brother called me. They were all afraid. And they know this man is spiritual man, so you probably will know what is happening. So I was there. They have to say, come. Sister Joy is speaking, and the voice, I said, what? Come.
The tone, everything.
The tone, everything is like her. So I got there, and she was very angry about his own son, and some few other incidents that happened.
Yeah.
And she had already done some things against my mom. My mom was not happy. And we all know, it's a long time ago, I personally went there and I just said that, what do you have to do with this? It's your own mother. At times you like talking too much. So my mom was not happy, but later we were able to sort the matter out. But when she left the body, she knew my mother was not completely happy with the situation. So he said that she called her mom. And when my mom went there, she knelt down, like the sister, she knelt down and she started narrating things that she have said, she have done against my mom many years ago, and you feel my mother should forgive her.
Everything feely like that.
I'm telling you, I was there in this moment. So like that, and then afterwards, the son did something. When the mother passed away, he was in Accra here. He didn't go to Nyani Dumese to go and see them. He waited until when there was the funeral. after like 2 months.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't believe that she said it, that you are my first son and you heard of my death and you didn't even bother to come. So you must compensate me. It was something serious I'm talking about. It's like 4 years, it's not up to 4 years. And I think those of you watching us, they can testify. This thing happens everywhere. It happens everywhere. So like that, this departed soul, and I've gotten an assistant from somebody who is a little bit superior on that realm to be able to guide you how to manipulate gross element with subtle abilities. Okay? So what I'm trying to say is that people leave their belongings. And as soon as they leave and they are so much attached to these things, don't forget that if you are somebody who is very sensitive and your wife or your husband goes out there, probably go and be with a woman or go and be with a man, and the person comes home. There are some women, they are very smart. As soon as they get close to you, she's able to detect that the perfume that you have and probably some new scent of a perfume that you have, the person can ask you, where did you go? There are some men and women like that, they are very sensitive.
That's true.
Because they know that the person you were with, the aromas have affected probably yourself.
Okay.
So they're able to detect. I know some people, when they are going out, they are dating some people, they want to have their own clothes with them. So anytime they misses them, they can just smell it. And the person's smell is in the dress. Maybe they want to even take your handkerchief so that they can keep it with them anytime they misses you. They want to see, smell, because they can feel you in those
presence.
So the whole point is that we live in our belongings subtly.
That is true.
So all the property you have, if you truly own them and you love those things, you subtly represent yourself in all these properties.
I think that is true, because even scientifically, I think it has now been proven that when you sit here and even stand up, they can be able to undertake DNA test and know who actually sat there.
That is it.
Yes.
And there are, like the FBI and the CIA, they have gadgets that when something happens in a room, after some time, within some stipulated time, they are able to send some gadgets there and they'll be able to detect who was there.
Yeah, it's true.
See, the point is that wherever you've been, so one day we will talk about the Akasha record, and it also try to explain some of the things, how you are able to delve into this kind of information. Because wherever you've been, whatever you've heard, everything is recorded there. So scientifically, somehow or the other, they're able to, find out who was here. So what I'm trying to say is that we all live in our belongings, especially things that directly, touches our body.
Okay.
So somebody dies, and the person was an evil person. The person left in a very bad mood. The person died with a lot of grudges.
Yeah.
And you begin to use their belongings. One thing you need to understand is that you are actually using a part of that person that left.
Wow.
And because what you use on your body reflects your personality, when someone dies, it is assumed that the person can be found in all the dresses. So in some part of India, when someone dies, you know what they do?
No.
All the belongings, they don't give to one person.
Okay.
They will scatter it to different places. They make sure maybe somebody came from the north, take this. Someone came from the south, take this. Someone from the east, from the west, whatever. So they disperse all the dressing in various areas, thinking that because the whole thing has been dispersed, it will minimize the attraction of this person to be around those things. So many people that they think that when their husband dies, they want to keep all the property to themselves, or he's sealed, or everything, they want to keep everything in the house. I'm telling you, this your husband might be with you all the time. And if there's any negative energy that comes along with his existence, it is going to affect you. It is good not to use even the clothing of your departed ones. You can go and, give them to charity, and not even to one place, to different places.
So if you give them to charity, and there are negative things associated with the person, which is in the clothing, won't the people who use it later also have that negative impact?
See, the whole point is that when things are given to strangers,
Okay.
the kind of energy that follows it will be ceased to follow it anymore.
Oh, okay.
So, for instance, maybe I'm dead and gone, and my dress are given out there. Subtly, there might be some little effects there, but not like somebody who really knew that this person that left the body was wearing these clothes.
So it doesn't relate to only family, but people who know you, even your friends.
Yes, your friends, people that knows you, that this dress belongs to you. Anytime they see the dress, they are able to remember your existence. Such people, if there's any negativity following those belongings, they can have full impact. But like people out there who might not even know you, they can have access to this. And like I'm saying, there might be little subtle energy following those dresses, but the impact will not be as much as somebody who really knows the person who who owned those kind of belongings.
Okay.
So it is said that when someone dies, some of the things that we think we can just dispose them of by probably burning them, or maybe go and put them in the holy river or something, we should quickly go and do that. And those that we feel that we are unable to dispose of, there are some cleansing mechanism, some things we need to do to those things before we can even start using them.
I think you have to teach us that one.
We will go there. In African tradition, when someone dies, they keep all the things in a room after 1 year. That's in our country. That's what I know in my place. That's what they do. They will keep all the things 1 year, and the person's door, no one goes there. So after 1 year, before they goes in there to share it. You know, ancient time, this practice was enacted. This time around, we are also following it, but we don't even know anything. We're just following ignorantly. But in ancient times, they knew that from day one the person passes on up to the first year, there are a series of rituals they will be performing. So they know that after the 365 days, the person will not be around them again, so they can go ahead to share his things without bothering him.
Okay.
But now, we still keep the things up to the 1 year, and we go and share without performing any ritual in between. You know, those days, the person passes away, and there are a series of rituals that will be performed like that. And then when the person is buried, from time to time, they go to the grave to go and perform some libation and stuff. So they do all this. So after the 365 days, they know that this person wouldn't be around again to disturb anybody. So they can go ahead to share his properties. But now, we just keep the things in the room and think that after 1 hour, 1 year, we are okay. No. There were some rituals we should have performed within that period. That was not done. So this person is still influenced by those things, that whatever you use, the person, if you want to harm anybody, based on those, the person can still go ahead and harm you.
Wow. So does it also include jewelries? Because you remember sometimes especially with the women, so this is my grandmother's jewelry, and they hold it so valuable to them. They don't want to let it go. They are always wearing it.
Sure.
Won't it also have any impact?
You see, it doesn't mean that any departed soul is evil.
Okay.
There are some people, when they leave and you have their belongings, it actually benefits you. Because they were very clean.
Okay.
They were not personality with some contamination. So you can wear their things all the time. In fact, we are just giving general statement.
Yeah.
Because, for instance, if my spiritual master passes away, I would like to have something of his own, just not to wear it or to use it, but to keep it there. Something like a monument, something to remember me of him. And anytime I see that, I will think of him. So, great people live, and they leave something with you, you must keep it.
Okay.
Don't spoil them. But we're saying that generally, when you have the belongings of dead people, be very careful. Because if they died in a very bad situation, they were in bad mood, with a lot of grudges and with annoyance, they can affect you just by you using their own stuff.
So that applies also to second-hand clothing?
Yes, that's one thing. Second-hand clothing that normally comes down here, most of it are from dead people. Yeah. But because we don't really acquire, if there's some negative energy, fully, because we don't know the personality that passed on. Some of the second-hand clothing might be coming from some rich people who are still living and they want to dispose of their stuff. But some of them practically comes from dead ones. But because we are down here, we are poor people, we don't even know who is the person that owned it. So we might not have the direct repercussions if there are any.
I
mean, there will be a little one there, like I told you before. Our energy stays in the dress that we wear. I mean, anything that we use with us, our energy stays there. So if you have positive energy, that positive energy will be there to, affect people. And if there are negative energies also, it goes there to affect people negatively. So yes, the best thing is not to use things that have been used by somebody. But it's very unfortunate, this part of the world, the poverty is so high. So at times, you can't even use new things. And, these Chinese people also, everything you want to use, they will just give you a fake product. So new things are almost like fake. So if you're a little bit smart and you want to get quality things, maybe things from the Western world, and you're unable to buy them fresh from there, the only thing you have to do, you have to go for the second-hand ones. Because that this was say used in the US, and it meets the standard.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to enjoy. But it's a new one, and it's from China. I mean, you can just imagine. When they want, even though the Chinese, they are able to also manufacture things to compete with the Western products. But if these things are coming to Africa, they don't respect us, so they can just give us any bogus thing.
Yeah.
The same thing China produces for Africa, if they produce the same thing for the US,
the quality
is different. Because they know Africans, these people, they don't have a say. Now you don't have a say. The fact is that we don't have any say. You can decide not. If you complain, they will stop giving you. You can't complain. So whatever they bring, we have to accept it. But what I'm trying to say here is that most of the time, if, for instance, you give birth to kids and you go and buy second-hand clothing for them, you are sick.
Yay. Because
if you give birth to kids, see, when children are coming to this world, they are coming with their own destiny. Make sure at that tender age, you don't necessarily allow anybody's external energy to influence them from that point, because it is going to have serious impact in their life.
Wow.
See, when you are grown, you develop an aura that is able to accommodate so many nonsense and still be you. But at that tender age, anything that influences you have the capability of being with you to death.
They are fragile.
They are so fragile, and not only their physical body, their aura, their vibration, everything about them is very fragile. That is why in ancient times, when you even give birth, you don't even allow strangers to come and see the baby. You go to their house and they'll tell you, oh, the baby is sleeping.
Okay.
All the time you go, the baby is sleeping. Not because of anything, but the baby's energy is very fragile. So they don't want people to go and intrude and begin to pour their negative emotions and energies on the baby. So please, I'm just saying this not because I'm a rich man. No, I don't have. But if you have a baby, don't give used clothing to this baby. Maybe you have a friend, and probably the friend had a baby some time ago, and this person kept the things. And you know this person very well. And the person, okay, take this for your baby. You know this person to be positive person, somebody that possesses positive energy. Why not? You can go ahead and accept it. But going to the market, buying baby clothing for your newborn baby, a month old, 2-month old baby, to use this second-hand clothing, you are finishing this baby's destiny. If you are fortunate enough that whatever clothing you purchase have come from a source that is divine and positive, all good. But if you're not very fortunate, and there are people, they are mad. They are mad, actually. That madness will be in these clothing. You go and get them. Some of these kids in abroad, maybe they will have autism.
Yes.
Autistic children. There are kids that have some kind of special needs. They wear this for some time. It absorbs their aura, their energy. And you want to transfer this to your fragile baby. That is not the best decision that any parent should take. So the whole point we're saying here is that people live in their belongings, especially the clothing, things that we wear on our body, we live in them for almost like eternity. So if you are fond of using things that belongs to people, like if you go to our temples, and somebody put the slippers there, nobody will go and put the feet in there. No. See, to the point that even when I want to give you something like this, I don't want to touch your hand. So I wouldn't give it to you. I'll put it down like this. To that level. Wow. Just by even touching people, you share karma. Talk less of you going to carry the person's dress. And at times even their underwear. Some women will go and buy some used underwear. What is wrong with you? Are you that sick? Can you just imagine that the woman wore this dress and had a menstruation inside, everything inside, and you go and buy them and wear them? Are you the only poor person or what? I mean, why? No, see, people should see the implication. The implication of some of these things is serious.
Very.
The same way you can smell your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your husband, your wife in his dresses, even after a very long time of usage. The same way people's energy stays in those clothing for a very long time. See, it is said that we have two different kind of associations. We have giving association and taking association. So as spiritual people, we've been advised not to take association from people supposedly we are more advanced than. So for instance, in the temple, it is said that junior devotees take association from senior devotees. Taking association means you are absorbing or imbibing whatever energy these people possesses. So you serve them. So when you are with a senior devotee, you don't talk much. You speak less so that you can allow them to speak much. You can take from them. Okay. If you want to eat, you eat. When they finish eating, you can take their remnants. When their clothing are dirty, you want to take and wash for them. You try to serve them by taking advantage of their energy. So you take association from these personalities because they are superior to you. But this personality who is superior to you should not take association from you, but should give association.
Okay.
See, this topic is diverting us so many. You know, in the ancient times, you wait till when your father finish eating, he eats and leaves some remnant for you to eat.
Yeah, we like it.
Yes. It's not because maybe your father was fed up. They know that if you eat your remnant, they transfer some of their energy into you.
Oh, okay.
So if you're a woman, you're a man, and you eat the remnant of your kids, you are taking their energies and it will affect them.
Hey, because this one there, these are our mothers, when they are eating, until one day, then before I realize that, okay, then let me eat too. Then before I realize they have eaten.
Because they don't know. See, at the course of time when you are feeding your baby and you want to put some in your mouth, I would say that is not so bad. It is within the period. But your baby finish eating, leaves remnant, and you, the parent, eat that remnant. You are taking energy from this your child. See, these mystics you might not understand.
I don't want it to go waste.
See, the whole point is that then serve your baby with what little that he can eat, and as soon as it's done, you can add more. You don't serve a whole plate, and the baby is unable to finish eating, and it's very bad for you to waste food. You'll be forced to eat, thinking that you want to conserve food, but you are consuming the energy of your baby. Because if somebody is a tuberculosis patient, and a person eats from a bowl with the rice and leave remnant for you, and you eat that food, would you counter that sickness?
Yes.
So if you are eating your child's remnants, the energy is in the food. You eat that food, you consume their energy. There are many things now we don't know because people don't even know mystical things. And unfortunately, we are not ready to learn because social media is giving us so much authority that we can say things, we can insult people, we can talk any trash, we don't care. But I remember some few years back, it was not like that. You could not look at an early man's face and insult him. You know why? Not because the early man is powerful, but their experiences alone can consume you. The power of their experience alone can destroy your destiny or your future. So you look at an old man's face and say, "Nimbi, now what you can so much now?" The person might not react, but the years the person have lived, the experience they have gathered, the kind of interaction they've gotten, the energy of those things can destroy your future.
Okay.
But now, on social media, people can just call anybody and they will finish the person by setting on the plate and they will chew you and drink water on top of it. You know why? Because social media, it is unknown personality, unmanifested personality. So you are not seeing the person, so you can just talk. If you meet this person, these people in person, some of them you can't even open your mouth to talk. When you are in their presence, You can't speak. But no social media is giving you that access. So you can go ahead and insult people, and you can say things, unprintable words about people. Just because we feel that we have the power to do so. All that I'm saying is, there are many things we used to do, now we are not doing them again. Yeah. And that one of the main reasons why we are dying so quick. We're having a lot of difficulties, a lot of troubles now, because there are things we are not supposed to do, and we are doing them. So talking about using the belongings of dead people, the fact of the matter is, people must be very, very careful. I am not saying don't use the things that belongs to a dead person. You can, but be careful. Because if you are very fortunate to lay your hands on things that belongs to a dead fellow, and this person happens to be a positive one, all good. But if you happen to go and use things that belongs to some dead, wicked criminal, and some of these people, maybe they possess some kind of mystical abilities, negative ones, so they can have enough effects on your person. So please,
that's 1 minute. Does it also include, let's say, sometimes when people die, they do T-shirts and the people, their picture and all those things written on it, and then you use at the funeral ground, do everything. When after burial, can you still wear those dresses?
Yeah, you can, but like I said before, any clothing you use to the funeral ground must be purified. It is not necessarily the T-shirt with the person's picture on, but your own clothing that you use to visit the funeral grounds or the cemetery must be purified before you even send them to your room.
But that one, the dead person didn't wear my dress now.
He didn't wear your dress. But anytime we keep a dead body around, there is something I call ether. The ether is part of the fourth element. One of the 5 elements of a personality. So this ether is the food for elemental forces.
Wow.
You know one thing? Bad smell is the food for housefly. So no matter how nice your room is, just go and pass stool on the ground and give yourself 15 minutes. From nowhere you see houseflies coming. Because that bad smell is something that attracts them, something that fits them. So dead people also emit that kind of energy. I'm talking about the ether. And this ether is the food for elemental forces. So when someone dies, the elemental forces feeds on the ether of this person that died. So they'll be around for a very long time. So you wear your own clothing to the funeral grounds because of the existence of the ether. You will definitely absorb that kind of energy. And when the ether gets touched with your dress, it's going to attract those elemental forces. That's the main reason why some years back, when we go to the cemetery, the ancient wisdom says that before you get to the town, you must purify yourself before you get to the town. So what I used to remember in our village, what they do, they will have a bucket of water, and then they have some herbs inside. So all those that went to the cemetery, before you enter the town, you wash your hands and your feet, because they know that where you're coming from, there's a possibility of you coming home with some kind of negative elemental forces. Now we don't do them. So we go to the funeral grounds to eat. I remember very well when we were kids. Who are you to be eating at the funeral grounds? When someone dies, in that house the person passed on, they don't cook for days. But now, where the dead body is, that's where we are doing jollof rice and we are doing takeaway. Some people go there and go and fight.
There's even some video that was trending recently. I think the person who died is a chopper operator, or the person likes fufu, something like that. So the boys around, where they lay the body in state.
They come and sit down there and eat
They
fufu.
sit there because they want to show they were eating the fufu. And
Where the dead body is?
Yes.
My God, I've not seen this.
Oh, it was around recently.
Wow.
And they want to show love.
This one is showing love in an ignorant way. See, let me tell you one thing. No matter how you love somebody, when the person passes on, this person is no more just a human being. Yes. Because their person attracts many things. So you have to be very careful. When you are dealing with dead body, when you are dealing in the environment of where we keep dead bodies, you should be careful. You see, let me just tell you one thing. If you go to the villages where they have the public toilets, some of them are so horrible that just by passing around, they stink. You can't even breathe. In mid-year, there was one there. That thing I have never experienced anywhere in my world. You pass where, the car, you have the air conditioning, everything is closed. But as soon as you pass it there, you can smell something very dense in your car. So I vow not to use that route. But you go there and those who are selling the paper, they will be sitting in the kiosk there and they are eating. So you just pass here within maybe 10-15 seconds. You couldn't even breathe. Because the stink is so much to the point that you cannot even accommodate it in your system. But somebody is sitting down there eating. So the question is it that this person is not having any idea of the stink around the area? See, our body was created such a way that we are able to adapt easily. So you be in an environment where there are so many horrible things, it affects, because these things create energy thoughts. They affect your person, that you get to a point that you don't even know that this thing actually even affects you. So somebody will say, but some people have been around dead body all these years and nothing happens, so what? Yes, they are having negative effects, but you are not seeing. People that go close to dead bodies, like people that dress the dead body, and you look at their life.
It's true.
No matter the kind of money they make from dressing all these bodies, just look at their life. In their whole life, they have different sequence of problems and troubles upon all the monies they make from dressing dead bodies and do all. You know what? Because there's so much energy that comes around dead bodies that if you don't know the signs of purifying yourself, after being around this environment, it have negative effects on you. So using the belongings of dead people is not a taboo. You can use them. But be very careful because they carry energy, both positive or negative energy. So if it happens to be negative energy around the clothing or the belongings of these departed personalities, it is going to have negative repercussions on your body. This is something we need to understand. We might not see physically that things that are happening because of these things, but metaphysically they exist and they do have terrible consequences on our person. So please, we just have to know, especially giving your kids used clothing and used stuff from personalities you don't know. You are not doing any good to your kids. You might be giving them something that will ruin their own future.
Thank you, Nana. Before we move to the process of cleansing some of these things before we use them, if you are watching us, please kindly like, share, and subscribe because more is yet to come. So, Nana, what can we do? Because, yes, all fingers are not equal. Definitely, some people will still have to go and buy some of those things, and some will still have to inherit it from their, parents, brothers, and all that are gone. What can we do so that at least we can be in a manageable, circumstance, not that bad?
Thank you, sir. I think this is a very, very important question you just asked, and it is necessary.
Very.
Because all of us, we get, affected with some of these things. So how do we go about them?
Yeah.
So the first thing, when someone dies, even their very house that the dead body is, those days we were not to cook in that house. But maybe because that time it was easier for you to move to the following house, the next house to go and eat there. Oh. Now you can't do those things. I remember those days in the evening, my friends would bring their food to our house and we would eat there. At times I would take mine to their house and we eat there. Now you can't do those things. So yes, someone passes on in your house and you might not have many options if you don't want to cook in your own house. So you can cook the house food there. But there are things you can do. For instance, you can just burn ordinary frankincense in the house.
Okay.
It doesn't mean the person that passed on has become some demon. No.
Okay.
Or this your brother, your father, your mother that passed on has become some horrible, gigantic, demonic personality. No. But just for the fact that this person is no more in existence, There are energies that emit from its environment that attract evil forces that could affect your life.
Okay.
So you can be burning frankincense. If you don't know frankincense, get cow dung, dry cow dung.
Okay.
This, I think that anybody at all that's watching this video, if you don't mind, try and get cow dung, dry it. If you like, you can pound it afterwards and keep it there as powder.
Okay.
Because there are many things that we go through that we are able to safeguard ourselves when we have this thing with that.
Cow dung.
Just ordinary cow dung.
Wow, market for Fulani people.
Now I'm telling you, just ordinary cow dung. Have you been to the north before?
I think a couple of times.
When you go to these, they are thatched houses. Down here, we use cement to cement everywhere. They don't use cement. They use cow dung mixed with some sand. And that's what they use to paint and plaster everywhere in the room.
Wow, won't it be smelling?
It will smell after 2-3 days and the smell is no more.
Okay.
You don't sleep in these rooms and have any nightmares.
Whoa.
No, those northerners who are watching us, what I'm saying, you can tell me if I'm lying. If you go to the north and somebody is having a terrible sickness, headache, all that they do, they get fresh cow dung. They will just plaster it on their forehead. Within 3 minutes to 5 minutes, the headache is gone. You know, I'm a Ghanaian. I had many of these experiences down here, but I never understood them until when I became a mystic, after studying in India and all that. That's when I got to know the meaning of those things that we saw when we were kids. So somebody have the Taj house, they use the cow dung, they plaster everywhere, and that's where they sleep. During the afternoon, the whole place is so calm and serene. Nobody sleeps in there and have any nightmare.
This one, yeah, I think we have to come and do a whole program on the cow dung.
We must do a whole video on this cow dung. And I will tell you the powers in this cow dung.
Whoa.
There's one thing I will tell you. If you have a cow dung, just an ordinary cow dung in your house, and you drop it in the fire in the night, within about 100 or 50 meters away from the environment, no witchcraft can operate there. So, you know one thing? If we go to India, you know India don't eat cow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, most Indians, I mean, not all of them, some of them, those are Muslims and Christians, some, they will feed on cow. But even those Muslims and the Christians who are Indians, they don't want to go close to the cow meat because they know the power the animal cow possesses. So those who are very ignorant, they say Indians worship cows. Because when you go there, the kind of respect they give to
reverence,
cows,
so much reverence.
the reverence, the adoration, you might think they're worshiping the cow. No,
Okay.
they are not. There are some things about the cow you don't know. So, and the one thing, Christians go out for evangelism, right?
Yeah.
Just to convert people to become Christians.
True.
Muslims don't do much, but the Ahmadiyas, they go out there and have you ever seen Hindus going out to go and do evangelism? They don't. They don't do that. Going out to go and preach. No. They feel that this is the original eternal religion. People can join when they are qualified. If not, you don't need to. So they don't have to come and explain to you. Do you see Indians coming out telling them, oh no, you are not worshiping cows? In fact, the cows, no, they won't tell you. Go ahead and say whatever you want. We know what we are doing. But fortunately, because we have Christian background and we have studied many other religious groups,
Okay.
and also we have following from all these various traditions. That's why we always want to tell people some of these things. If not, you will see them doing it all the time. They will not mind you. Go ahead and tell them whatever thing you want to tell them. They wouldn't mind you because they don't care. They don't worship cows. But there is something special with the cow that you don't know. All of you have been watching these pastors and prophets ordaining people.
With that, yes.
They ordain people with oil in the corn, with the horns of a cow. And as soon as they pour these oils on the participant, they everywhere begin to fall down. It is not that the oil is powerful. As soon as some oil, specific oil, touches the cow horn, automatically it becomes like magic.
Any cow horn or
Any cow horn, any cow horn. As soon as not every oil.
Okay.
There's some special oil. As soon as this oil touches the cow horn, that oil becomes like magic.
Can you give us the name of it?
I'm not giving that name. I'm going to give to only transformation people.
Okay.
Maybe we have to do a teaching about the cow on our Telegram platform so that some of these oils and names I can just give. And see, let me tell you one thing. You keep a cow horn at your gate, no evil force can enter the house.
Yeah, I've been seeing that thing. Anytime the two horns, they put it with a head like that, they put it on top of the...
Whether you have the head or you don't have, just only the horn. If you pull the horn, then no evil force can enter there. I'm telling you this. You know, the whole thing is dragging to this kind of ability because I was telling you about what to do to cleanse yourself after you have had connection with things that belongs to a dead person. So I was saying that get the cow dung, you can dry it. It shouldn't be dirty to you. Some of you eat the toilet of the gas cutter. Huh? Some of you go to the chopper and you'll be demanding for it. I am telling you something that can give you enough energy, power, not to get food. So the cow dung, I'm not saying you should go and eat it. The way you use the aponchi toilet or you eat the grass cutter toilet or the option toilet. No, you are not eating this. Just dry it. You can pound that into powder. Then, when somebody dies in your house, all of us, we experience that. Whether one day somebody is going to die in the house. So everybody must have this. Yeah. You are renting a house, somebody can die in that house. You have your own house, somebody can die in your house. I mean, this is a normal or natural phenomenon. So you have this cow dung powder there. When someone dies in that house, you can get some small coal pot with charcoal on it. Then from time to time, you can just put some of the powder cow dung inside. It will burn for 5 to 10 minutes. You can leave for a while, then later you can just drop some. Just the scent of the cow dung being burnt around that area, there can't be any evil force operating. Sure. So your mother is dead in the room, your father is dead there. Your mother is not evil. Your father's dead body is not evil. But the present invites elemental force that could become problem for you and your siblings in the house. So when you put this cow dung powder into the fire, what you are doing is that you don't want any negative energy to take advantage of the demise of the dead person in the house. You don't want to do that. So you can have this there. It's very powerful. So that's to clean the environment. But now, what do you do with the things that belong to the person? What do you do? So same way, you can use salt. The best thing is the sea salt.
The sea salt.
You can get the sea salt as the best. If not, you can get the rock salt.
Okay.
So you just put it in water, and you can sprinkle. So for instance, a car.
Yeah.
You can sprinkle the whole body, the inside. You put the engine like that. Not too much because the engine can take much salt. So just a little bit of it, and you can leave for some time, dry it. You can use it. If some shoes or maybe some footwear, you can do the same thing. Salty water, or if it's clothing. You can wash it and you put some salt inside.
Okay.
And you can wash it, dry in the sun, and after some time, you can wear them. If there are some watches, you can just put some salty water around it. If there's some necklace, you asked me about jewels.
Yeah.
See? Gold actually really assume the energy of the wearer.
Okay.
Yeah. So if somebody wears gold jewels, and after some time the person passes on, and you use those things, trust me, the person's energy will be with you for a very long time. So what you can do, if you say gold jewels, you can put in the salty water for maybe 10-15 minutes, remove it, and then go and throw the water into maybe the WC or something. Salt is number one. If you cannot use salt, like I prepare some oils like you use to diaba, use the prekese and eshe. The combination of this with oil, it purifies it. So you can just pour a little bit into your water for bathing. You bath yourself. You can sprinkle some into some of these stuff.
Yeah.
Then you are good to go. But never ever underestimate the level of energy that emits from the belongings of dead people, especially wicked ones. There are some human beings, they are just wicked. They are just wicked to the core. Such people, you begin to use their things. Never think only party will or I'm going to be a no, only what they will go on your bit. So the whole point is be careful. Using stuff that belongs to dead people, purify them. It is important. Purification is very important. You purify those objects, those gadgets. Now you can go ahead and use them so that you don't attract any energy. So in this science, we are talking about two energies.
Yes.
The energy of the person that passed on, and then the energies that the
dead body
will attract.
Yeah.
So for instance, this person passes away, and then his clothing is there. The energy of this person that departed is in the clothing, and that energy probably might also invite some evil forces. So that's why it is very important that you must purify all the belongings of dead people before you use them. Especially some of us that we are buying this second-hand clothing. Some of these things, some criminals in the prison houses, they use all this, and when they die, they will bring them here. These people are just like mad people. You wear this thing, you don't know how you feel in the night, you begin to have nightmares and weird dreams. Please, you must be able to purify the belongings of dead people, departed people, before you use them, because you might not see the effect of these things physically like this, but the symptoms can be there. It's an advice, and I hope that you pay heed to it. Thank you.
Wow, Nana, today you have given us so much information.
Thank you, sir.
Powerful one, and I'm sure all viewers have actually benefited. We are going to, take action, ensure that we purify the things we use, so that we will not attract any negative impact from dead people or from other elemental forces. Thank you so much for viewing. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more videos. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you.